Welcome back to Papa's Workshop, and today we are building and installing this gigantic pantry door that will complete this series of videos. It's time to begin work on the door. Now remember, I am converting this from 2 doors down to 1 door. So this will be one large door at the request of the homeowners. The material that I'm using is a premium pine board. Now this is a shaker style door. So the actual outer frame of this is going to be 2 inches wide all the way around the perimeter of this door to create this shaker design. As far as the size of this door, the overall height of this door is just over 78 inches and the width is just over 21 inches wide. Once I have the rough stock cut, and I'm making this about an extra inch longer, then I will need to cut the 45-degree angles, and of course I'll need to cut the rabbet cut to be able to receive the 12mm or 1/2 inch plywood center insert that will go into this door. I'm using this miter gauge to cut the 45-degree angles, primarily because it is dead on accurate. This cuts a precise 45-degree angle that I cannot duplicate with any of the shop-made jigs that I have in the shop. The first step in this process is to take all of this stock material that I've cut to rough lengths and cut all the ends to the 45-degree angle. At this point, I'm not concerned about the overall length. I just want to get the 45-degree angle cut on one end of each of the stock materials. Once that is completed, then I'll reset up the miter gauge to cut the other end for the 45-degree angle. And at that point, yes, accuracy is going to be critical to get the correct size of each of the different pieces. While I'm cutting out this great big large door, I'm also cutting out a door panel that's actually much smaller. Now I had already cut the 45-degree angle on the ends, and now it's time to be able to make that precise cut. And on a small panel such as this, I can use the stop that's on the miter gauge to be able to create that perfect length. But what happens when the piece of material that you're cutting is longer than this miter gauge? Well, let me show you a real easy way to be able to set this up to get very precise cuts. I've taken a pencil and I have marked the outer edge of this blade. So this is the left side of the blade, that's going to be the cut line, and then the right side of the blade, and that's going to be the cut line. Then when I measure the pieces, I measure the exact length that I want, that long point. And all I need to do is just match this point to the side that I'm cutting on. And that will give me the exact cut that I need. It's a real simple method, and it's a very accurate method to be able to do it, because this fence that I have is not long enough to be able to set it up as I did those 2 short pieces. And then the other 2 pieces that I have are over 6 feet long. So I'm going to use the same method to be able to get an accurate cut for those as well. Next, I want to cut the top and the bottom pieces for the large door. And as you can see, this is actually longer than this miter gauge, so I can't use the stops. So I'm going to use that line that I created right on the table saw insert. By aligning that point, I can make this cut very accurately, and it is very precise. And this is easy to be able to duplicate. So with the first one out of the way, I'm going to grab the next piece and do the same thing. Now I've already marked the material itself for the length. All I need to do is match that line to the line that I have marked on the table saw insert, and I can make the cut. Now I want to be able to show you exactly how accurate this is using this method. I know it's going to be hard to see, but that's the actual pencil line right there that I cut on. So that's absolutely perfect. This is an old Stanley picture frame clamp that I've used for years. If you look at the material that I've clamped in here, you can see that it's an exact perfect 45-degree angle. That shows you just how accurate that miter gauge is. Well, I want to be able to nail together this small door frame first and get it out of the way. And then I'm going to move to the larger one, and we're going to clamp it up the same way. I have successfully glued and clamped all 4 of the corners. This last one that's in the clamp, the glue is drying now, and you can see how I've set it up on these cans to be able to keep it level. I cut the plywood insert, dropped it in place, put plenty of glue in that rabbet joint, and put all of my weights onto the board to hold it down. This is the best use for the weights that I have. The door is all painted now, and I'm ready to be able to put the hardware on next. The time has come to install the hinges on this door. Now the hinges I'm going to use are these right here. And these open up like this. Now this is a 1/2 inch overlay, and this is for a framed type door cabinet. And this is the package right here that I'm using. Now when you look at this, there's really no instructions that come with this package, but that's actually okay, because you can scan this barcode right here and it gives you all the instructions that you need. Now as far as the placement of these hinges, I'm going to have to do it just a little bit different to accommodate the location of the drawers themselves. Typically on a cabinet door, you'll measure down from the top and from the bottom down about 3.5 inches to be able to locate these hinges in that door. Unfortunately, if I did that, the bottom drawer would actually hit the hinge, so I can't do that. So I have to raise that up. So I have to put it at about 6.5 inches from the bottom. So it matches. I'm going to come down from the top 6.5 inches also. Now again, this is outside the norm. This is typically not done. In addition, for a door that's 78 inches tall, you should be using 4 hinges. Unfortunately, with the placement of the drawers that were in this cabinet originally and where I had to put the drawers to be able to make it where it actually balances out and looks good, can't do it. It would be an odd measurement to be able to place these different hinges. So I'm actually going with 3. I'm going to have 1 hinge in the middle of the door. And I think that still will work out just fine for this particular door. Here's a quick look at the dimensions that you need. The most important one is that 13/16 to the center line of that 35mm hole. The pilot hole in the face frame itself needs to be 3/32, so that's a good information that the instructions provide. And then if you need to make any adjustments, you have the 2 screws to make the adjustments. Normally, from the bottom of this door, you should measure about 3.5 inches to be able to put this hinge. Unfortunately, that drawer would be right in the way and it would not work. So I have to bring it up to 6.5 inches. Now, as far as the placement of this, so the center of this from this outer edge should be 13/16. So I'm just going to measure that. That is the 13/16, and that's where the hole, and this is a 35mm hole that will be drilled right there in the center. And that does bring it very close to this front edge. These 2 screws are 1 3/4 inch apart. Now, should you not have an 8mm drill bit to drill this hole for this little plastic dowel, you can remove that. Just unscrew this screw, that little plastic dowel will drop off. Then you're left with this type of a hinge. Now you can still use a screw. You need to use a number 6, 5/8 inch long screw, and that's all you need to be able to do. And that's what I'm going to do in this case. Because quite frankly, on this big of a door, I really don't trust this plastic dowel. I would rather have an actual screw in place. So I went ahead and removed that little plastic dowel, and I'm going to use the regular number 6 screw that's 5/8 inch long. In addition to that, you need to be able to drill the pilot hole, and that's going to be 3/32. So that's a pretty small pilot hole, but that's going to guide the screw in. The bit that I use to drill the actual hole for the hinge is this one right here. Now this is the 35mm Forstner bit that I can drill the hole with. Now you need to drill this 1/2 inch deep. And if you measure this from this top edge of this tooth to the really the top of the bit, that gives you the 1/2 inch. So that will give you a very accurate measurement, but you got to take your time. You don't want to rush this to be able to drill it. Now, I'm not using any type of fancy templates to be able to put these in. I'm just marking it, doing the layout on the door, and then drilling the holes. Before I drill the hole, I have my little, I put a little mark right there to be able to center it so the bit won't wander. But I like to verify one more time that that is actually 13/16. Then I'll drill the hole very slowly. The reason that I have the blue tape on the door is to be able to use the pencil to mark the line. I don't want the pencil marks on that fresh paint. It probably would not come off and leave a mark on my door. Thus, the blue tape, it solves that problem. Now, I should be real close to that 1/2 inch mark. So I'm going to go ahead and take this tape off. And we're going to see how this hinge lines up in this hole. And that fits absolutely perfect. So the next thing I want to do is actually mark these 2 holes. Okay, I dropped this right in place, and that's exactly where I want it. And now I'm just going to make a little mark right there in the center of the hole. That way I can drill my pilot hole. Again, this is the drill bit that I'm using. You want to be real careful when you're using a drill to put these screws in, because it's real easy to over tighten and strip the material. And keep in mind, this is very soft wood, so be very careful. In fact, I was almost tempted just to use a regular screwdriver for this. Now, I've already removed the blue tape, but I have the hole marked exactly for that center point for this 35mm bit, and I'm going to drill the holes for this center hinge and the one at the top of the door. So I'm going to follow the exact same procedures that I did for that first one and get these other 2 hinges in place. And then after that, it's time to install the handle. To be able to mark the location for this handle, I want to use the True Position tools. Now I want this handle right in the center. This is a 2-inch style, so I need to set this at 1 inch. So I'll slide that down to the 1-inch mark and then lock that in place. And then these are the holes guides for the handle itself. To be able to check to make sure that they're correct, I have these 2 little pins that I can drop in. I can put this on, and that gives me the exact proper alignment. So I know that that is going to work. I also know that this is on the center line. So now I can literally come over to this area, put this right on that line, and now I have the exact position to be able to drill the 2 holes using the guide. And I've already measured that, and I know it's going to fit perfectly. Now the bit itself is actually included in the True Position tool, so even that makes it so simple to be able to do it. The 2 holes are done. I don't need the center line marked anymore. Remove the blue tape, and now let's install the handle. The handles for this cabinet upgrade are the same ones that were on the original cabinet, so they're all being recycled. So these screws will fit just perfectly fine in this 3/4 inch material. So I'll just slip the screw in, put the handle on, and tighten the screw. Nothing fancy about this at all. Okay, at this point, the handle's on, all the hinges are on. It's time to get this over to the house and install this door. Now, to be able to install the door this size, this took a little bit of preparation. I cut 2 blocks to give it the correct height. That way, working alone, I can do this basically hands-free. This gives me the exact location where this hinge needs to be screwed in. Once that's done, I can just easily screw in the 2 screws for the remaining 2 hinges, and now the door is finished. I think it looks great. Well, thanks a lot for watching this video today. I hope you were able to pick up a few tips and tricks along the way on how to be able to build and install a large, or I should say just an oversized door in your cabinets. It can be quite easy, and you can, with a little bit of planning, do this yourself. So if you like this video, by all means, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget, subscribe right down there below, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next video. And remember, I've got over 800 different videos to be able to help you in just about every type of project that you have. And if you have some questions or comments, please leave them down below. If you need a project that you don't see, leave me a message. I'll see if I can't do a video for you that'll help answer your questions. And I hope you take the opportunity to look at some of these videos right over here to be able to help you in your shop. So again, thanks a lot, and I'll see you real soon in the next one.